Teresa, I'm so happy to see you. I'm glad you're back. Hello, family. Welcome to the 5,405th meeting of the greatest Rotary Club in the world. I'm so glad you're all here today. First, we'll start in song, and we have a new singer for you today. I'd like to welcome Kai Kai, one of our Red Badgers, to the stage to lead us in unity.
Thank you. Please stand. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night. Breathe a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Kai Kai has been taking lessons from a formal opera singer for 13 years and voiced her enthusiasm for being involved. So for all of our Blue Badgers, please make sure you give her a good pat on the back and welcome her enthusiasm. Well done, Kai Kai. And welcome to our Rotarians and guests. Will be introduced momentarily. And in the meantime, I'd like to thank our executive chefs for being in the greeting line today. Of course, that committee, one of 44, for those of you who might not have caught that number in the past, is led by Rick Alpers, Sam Wool, and Jim Nielsen. Again, there's something for everybody, so please look into those committees and further your service. Today we're celebrating birthdays, and on this day we have Jay Corbett as well as Rowena Tumongnang. Happy birthday, friends. I hope you're going to have a wonderful day. And I'd like to give a brief Rotary family update, which you may have seen in the weekly bulletin. And unfortunately, Bobby Gorenberg, who used to be the Dean of the School of Nursing at San Jose State University and joined Rotary in 1994, she passed. But fortunately, past President Jay Ross, Fernando Zazueta, Leslie Hamilton, and Carmen Sigler were all able to attend her services and to represent our Rotary family. Let's just have a moment of silence to honor her. Thank you. It's always a tragedy when we lose a beloved member who's meant so much to the community and to this club specifically, so I appreciate that moment of silence. And now we move on to introductions, and today we have two Red Badgers on the mics. We have Kirk Walikevich, I've been practicing the pronunciation, and Mike Mack. Kirk, please take a moment to briefly introduce yourself.
Yeah, thank you, President Karen. I'm Kirk Walikevich. I'm a CPA and also the finance director for ICA San Jose, and my sponsor was Heather Lerner.
Wonderful. And Mike?
Hi, my name is Mike Mock, and I'm a small business owner. I own a couple of businesses. One is San Jose Batting Cages. It's an indoor baseball, softball training facility in South San Jose. We've been around for about 12 years. I also own a performance car modifying business called TPS Motorsports. We're based in Santa Clara. We deal with muscle cars. We actually take care of John Ball's car. John Ball's my sponsor. And we actually have also a Maui fundraising event coming up this Sunday. It's a car event. So if you want to come down to our shop, we're donating all the funds to the Hawaii Community Foundation.
Well, wonderful. Thank you for that, Mike. And you've inspired me to introduce the first gentleman first, my husband, Evan Mandel. Evan, he's also the chief operating officer of our household, and he's super into cars. All right, please stand if you're a visiting Rotarian or you have a guest. President.
Good afternoon. I'm Cynthia Teniente Matson from San Jose State University. Go Spartans.
Go Spartans.
Yeah, a big game this weekend. I have three guests with me today. Michael Kaufman, Dr. Michael Kaufman, who is the Dean of the College of Sciences. Dr. Priya Cannon, who is our newest dean from the Lucas College of Business, and Dr. Shannon Miller, who is the dean of the College of Arts and Humanities. Thank you.
Wonderful. What a great showing. And by the way, she is part of the ROD Squad and will have her formal introduction on October 4th. And the new dean is my boss. So a warm welcome to you. We're so happy you joined us today. Yes.
President Karen, Mike Block from Block Construction. It's my pleasure to introduce Mike Gudo. Mike's a longtime San Josean and recently retired aeronautics executive who's looking to find new ways to get involved in the community.
So why
Thank
not
you.
Rotary? We look forward to having you more frequently. Where am I looking? Walt.
Hi, this is Sharad. I'd like to invite Amarjeet Singh, and he runs I don't know how many companies, but I've lost count of them, so I just brought him here today. Thank you so much.
Wonderful to have you.
Hello, President Karen, Teresa Alvarado, PG&E. I have three guests over there. Daniel Cedeno, he's my Chief of Staff. Myra Tostado are my Principal Regional Specialist. And Matt Schneiderman, he's my Regional Senior Manager, all working on my team, as well as Cristina Ramos here. She's our Local Government Affairs Representative at PG&E.
Wonderful. And once again, it's just so nice to see you and have you back. Next. Yes, Sal.
Hi, President Karen.
Hey there.
Sal Pizarro, Mercury News here. I am actually playing host today to two guests of Randy Zeckmans, who is off. He's off at Burning Man and couldn't be here because he's that kind of guy.
He's on a different
But
kind of trip.
I'm thrilled to introduce his two guests. We have Carl Lubitsch, who's the Vice President of Battery Installation with Clean Solar here. And on my left, we have Lori Mitchell, who's Director of San Jose Clean Energy.
Wonderful. Nice to have you.
I'm Sarah Yo with PG&E and a visiting Rotarian from Oakland Rotary number 3.
Oh, I'll be attending a meeting there in October. Nice to have you.
President Karen, Larry Kiekler, CPA. My guest today is Yuri Lavor. Yuri is a wealth advisor with Edward Jones, and he has recently opened a new office for them at Santana Row.
Wonderful. Congratulations. Alfredo.
Hi, President Karen. I brought my best friend over here, Vanessa Okafor, Educational Psychology. Thank you.
Nice to have you.
President Karen, Keaston Smith here, Silco Orchards Management Company. I brought with me Desiree Gran, who is our office manager and also on the San Jose Clean Energy Commission.
Welcome.
Good afternoon, President Karen. I'm Ramesh Hariharan, a past member of this Rotary Club of San Jose, which still is the greatest club in the world.
Yes.
I was introduced to this club by David Down, and I think I remember him. He's probably in the club for 71 years, something like that. So This is great to have. I've also been a past district owner from this district. Nice to be here.
Nice to have you.
Hi, President Karen. I'm Renee Johnson. I'm a member of the Silicon Valley Rainbow Rotary Club and also Area 5A's Assistant Governor.
Nice to have you, Renee.
I'm Hung Wei, member of the Rotary Club of Cupertino, and I'm currently serving as District 5170 Governor. It's nice to be here.
I don't know if my eyes have just gone bad or if it's really hard to see back there, but I think that completes the introductions for now. All right. And I do want to follow up on a comment you made. Our member David Down this week celebrated 71 years in this club. Let's give a round of applause for that. Excellent. And now it's my pleasure to actually introduce our district governor more formally, Hung Wei, who will be spending a few minutes talking about her vision in this capacity for the upcoming year. She comes to us with a wealth of volunteer experience, having served as PTA president, on the school board, and on multiple other nonprofit boards. She's known for her integrity, her vision, her commitment to creating a better world, and in fact, in addition to all of those responsibilities, she was elected to the Cupertino City Council in 2020. She's now the mayor. I don't know how she does it all, but prior to being the district governor, she was also an assistant district governor, a president, a chair of the membership committee, and many, many others. You're amazing. I can't wait to hear more about your vision. Nice to see you as always.
Thank you, President Karen. Okay, so the first thing is, I think a lot of people are wondering, what is District 5170? I have to tell you, your club, San Jose Rotary, is the biggest, the most prominent club in our district. But does anybody know how much area that District 5170 covers? What's our most northern part? Oakland number 3, I know a member is here. And what's our most southern part? Hollister and Watsonville. And what's our west part? Palo Alto. What's our east part? East Bay, Livermore Valley, and Livermore. So that's our District 5170. How many Rotarians in District 5170? Take a good guess. Almost 4,000. Almost 4,000. How many clubs? This could be very specific. Maggie? 62 clubs. Very good. So now you all know what is district governor. What's the District 5170? But what does the district governor do? Let me tell you something. Almost nothing. I am not your leader. I am your best cheerleader. Woo-hoo! Every club that I visit, you are my 28th club that I'm visiting. It's so unique. They're just like little choo-choo trains and just keep on going. You're the ones on the ground doing service, fundraising, making a difference, planting hope in the world. So what does the district do for you? Another question. Do you know how much you pay to the district per member per year? Your treasurer must. $55. So you really want to make that work, you know? So what does the district do for you? The district does provide opportunities for you to learn. So Avenue Service is coming up September 30th in West Valley College. It's a place where you can learn from others and others can learn from you and have social and make friends outside your club. So make good use of the district that provides you learning opportunities and social opportunities. Now we all talk about membership. Membership is not having more members. We have non-Rotarians here. Membership means we have more resources, more talents, and more friends. So, how do you sponsor a member? Every one of you has that obligation. So I want to tell you, what is Rotary? What really is Rotary? Who are Rotarians? Let me share my Rotary story with you. So picture this with me. Picture a small boy whose mother was an alcoholic, whose father was almost never home. He got himself up every morning, put on whatever cleaner clothes he could find on the bed, grabbed whatever food was left on the kitchen table, and he went to school. He loved school. His parents could never afford to buy him anything. But somehow, when school started, he would receive a backpack full of pencils, crayons, stationeries. And somehow, before the winter holiday, somebody would hand him a nice warm jacket. Somehow in the spring, a pair of new sneakers or a couple of nice t-shirts. He didn't know who were those invisible people that gave him all those, but he loved it. He studied hard, went to college, graduated, moved to Silicon Valley, found a good job, bought a house, got married, raised a family, and time flew by, he retired. So one of his friends said, hey, you retired now, why don't you join Rotary? He didn't know what Rotary was, but he joined for fellowship. And the first couple of projects he did with his club, one of them was back-to-school backpacks. While he was stuffing pencils, crayons, stationeries into brand-new backpacks, it dawned on him that those people that helped him along the way, those invisible people, changed his life, could be Rotarians. So he vowed to be that invisible person for the rest of his life, to help a child in need, a family in crisis, a village that needs water. This is a story of one of my fellow Rotarians, and he told it in my family room while we're fundraising for our club. His life story is my Rotary story. Our message to you is, each and every one of you is that invisible person. People you help the project you do in your communities, in worldwide. They don't know who you are, what you look like, where you live, but they know some invisible people help them, change their lives. We are that invisible person, and I want to congratulate you. Being that invisible person is part of being something larger than we are. So my first message to you is, you are that invisible person in every project that you do. My second message to you is, be a happy Rotarian. You cannot attract people to your project, to your club, to your socials, unless you're a happy Rotarian. So be that happy Rotarian. My third message resonates so much today because I heard you have a Rotarian that's 75 years in Rotary and someone's going to be 60 years in Rotary next year. Be a lifetime Rotarian. We have a lot of young people who might still move somewhere. No matter where you are, what you do, join a Rotary Club. You can be as active as you are now, or just by paying that dues. By paying that dues, you are part of 1.2 million Rotarians doing good in the world, planting hope in the world, and make a difference in the community, help a child, help a family, help a village. So the message is very simple. You are that invisible person. Be a happy Rotarian and be a lifetime Rotarian. Now, I love your President Karen's thing. We are family. Our president, international president Gordon McNally, he shared his life story with us. He wants Rotary to be that organization that takes care of our members. We're planting hope in the world, create hope in our communities, but let's create hope in our clubs. Support our own club members. He shared his life story. He had a brother who was very successful in his business, had a wonderful family. In his early 50s, he committed suicide. And nobody, not his family, not his friends, knew he was depressed until he passed away. He hid it so well. Maybe it's because of shame or because he wanted to be that strong man. He never revealed it until he lost hope and took his own life. And I want to share my personal story with you. The most difficult question anyone could ask me is, how many children do you have? It took me a couple years to develop that answer. So right now, I would say I have 2 boys now. If you didn't take notice of the now, then you will say, oh, where they are. I have 2 boys, I have a granddaughter who's 2. I had a daughter at 19 and a half. On January 9th, 2004, I took her to San Francisco Airport. She transferred herself from UCLA to NYU, and her words to me were, Mom, I want to be with my soulmate. So she went to New York University, all by herself, on January 9th, 2004. On March 6th, 2004, she jumped off the 22-story building of her boyfriend's apartment. She did not last 2 months in New York. She was all alone at 19 and a half. She lost hope because it turned out that her boyfriend was a pathological liar. But it's not the relationship what I'm talking about. It's that 19-and-a-half-year-old girl and a 50-year matured man. They both lost hope because they were lonely, they were unable to share. So here we are. You have a vibrant club. You have members. Take care of your members. Karen's going to tell me to finish this. This is very important for me to share. A couple months later, I received a letter from one of her professors. He regretted, he said he couldn't sleep for weeks after my daughter passed because she went to his office the day before, turning a paper that was due that day. And he said she looked different. So he said, I asked, Diana, what happened to you? He said, your daughter only says, oh, I had a bad flu. When she committed suicide the next day, he could not sleep for weeks. But I told him, you know, when opportunities present itself, let's take care of our friends, our family, and our club members. So the message is, you are that invisible person. Be a happy Rotarian. Be a lifetime Rotarian. and support your friends and family and people around you. One happy note is, next year mark my 20 years that my daughter left me. She lives in my heart. Every day when I eat good food, I'm eating with her. When I watch a good movie, I'm watching with her. When I do things good in the world, I'm doing with her. So I'm living a doubly happy life because my daughter lives in my heart. So if you ever lose a loved one, live a doubly happy life because your loved ones will want you to do that, and the world will be a better place because you're carrying your loved ones in your heart. So thank you for having me. Remember,
That's a tough story to hear, but one unfortunately many of us can relate to. And it reminds me to remind you, never underestimate the power of a kind word. You don't know what somebody is struggling with or the burden that they carry. And what we know from scientific literature is that social support is one of the greatest mitigating factors in the development of mental disorders and emotional distress. So be kind, be present, be in the moment, be an active listener, and don't be afraid to say you care. Thank you for sharing your story. She had much more to say, but like always, we have to run a tight agenda out of respect for all of you and your time. So now we're going to be moving into a very enjoyable part of today's program, and that's awarding our Paul Harris Fellows. For those of you who are guests, a Paul Harris is achieved when you've donated $1,000 to Rotary International to support our global initiatives. And so our district governor is going to be shaking hands and really telling everybody a good job. And with that, may I ask my Paul Harris recipients to start lining up next to the stage, please. Thank you. That was tough. And while they make their way up here, I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you to Suzanne St. John Crane, who's in the audience. You might remember when I kicked off on July 12th, we played We Are Family, the karaoke version, which had lyrics rewritten by Elaine Sullivan and recorded by Suzanne. It's super fun, perfectly represents the theme, and we're going to be introducing it once a month so we can all gather and share that experience. Thanks again for that, Suzanne. All right, Paul Harris Fellows with $1,000 donation. Start with Gretchen Boger. When I call your name, if you could start making your way to the stage. And some people are not able to be here, but they're here in spirit. Next, we have James Canine. Audrey Fox. Audrey, I know you're there. Come on up. Kirk Wallachevich, a Red Badger. And Kirk, is your mom with us today? Okay, she is a great supporter of him and our program. Congratulations. I'm still practicing that name out of respect. He said I didn't need to worry about it, but I think it's important. Paul Harris +2. We've got Matt Bell, chair of our membership committee. Thank you, Matt. Tell Gracie we miss her. Excellent. And while I love that we are applauding everybody, I'm so sorry, but in the interest of time, can we hold our applause or just do a silent wave, and then we'll give them one great big cheer at the end. We also have Heather Lerner, which couldn't be with us today, but she's our president-elect, and she's here in spirit. Yvonne Montes de Oca. Yvonne, we're so glad you're back. All right. And Rose Simmons, chair of our Rotacare committee. Come on up. Excellent. Paul Harris +2 means they've achieved the $3,000 donation level, and that's Josh Burrows, Arthur Carmichael, Ed Correa, Larry Donatoni, Jeff Fisher, jazz hands, Sandra Gill, co-chair of our international committee, Norm Klein, Jeff Lawson, Scott McQueen, Kathleen Thomas, who's at every event pretty much taking pictures of us and making sure she helps spread the joy of our club activities. Thank you, Kathleen. Kathy Wiley, and Jack Wimberly. Then we've got one for the Paul Harris +3, and that's Candace Roney. She's not with us today, but she's wonderful. Paul Harris +4, John Baird, John Ball, James, or Jim D'Amico. He has celebrated 59 years this October in this club. So a big round of applause for Jim. We broke the rule for that one. Steve Ellenberg, Lisa Fenton, and Tim Gill, also co-chair of our international committee. And you'll see he's wearing some traditional Nigerian dress today because we'll be announcing his international feast a little later in today's program. And then we have the Paul Harris Society, which means not only did you donate $1,000, but you did it within 1 calendar year, so a 12-month period of time. Others achieved that status after many years, but these are the people who did it in one fell swoop. And that's John Baird, John Ball, Josh Burrows, Ed Correa, Jim once again, Steve Ellenberg, Lisa Fenton, Audrey Fox, Gary Giannini, Sandra Gill, and Tim Gill, the married duo that's just fabulous, Howard Loomis, and Kathleen Thomas. So many repeat names there. So everybody join me in a big round of applause, please. Now, I told you all I'm getting used to this whole picture thing, so please pardon me because they said we have to take a quick group picture, so I'll be right back. Or maybe not. While they continue to receive their honors, we're just going to keep this going so that we can make a few more announcements and make sure we have enough time for CEO Patty to share her vision, which is what, Patty, you're the reason my husband's here today. He's super excited for your comments, as am I. I did? I skipped Mike Block. How could I have done that? That was terrible of me. He's given so much, and he always opens his beautiful construction facility for our activities, including Rise Against Hunger, where we packed 13,000 meals in May this year for international recipients. Sorry about that, Mike. All right, one quick announcement before we take that photo. A gentle reminder that our barbecue is Wednesday, September 13th. It will be at History Park. We will not have a meeting that day. The price per person is $70, and we welcome you to bring guests and potential Rotarians. But I'm going to make a personal plea and beg each one of you to please RSVP early. I've learned from our staff that they're often very frenetic the week of the barbecue because people are RSVPing late, and that produces some unnecessary stress. So please help us in making sure this event is smooth. RSVP, and if you need to cancel, you can get a full refund by Monday at noon. I think that's the fastest I've ever seen a district governor run, so good on you. Thanks once again to everybody for your generosity with the Paul Harris Fellows. All right, guys, we're going to move on in the program here. The executive chefs did a heroic job actually cleaning up their shed. Here's some fun pictures in the background, but Rick Alpers, one of the co-chairs, informed me it was the first major cleaning and reorganization of this shed since 1989. We have some members that maybe weren't born at that time yet, but they power washed, they organized, and they donated unneeded cooking equipment to those who produce services for those in need. So nice job, chefs. They're getting ready for that barbecue, and we appreciate it. We also have the International Feast, which Tim and Sandra Gill are leading, and that is going to be on Friday, October 6th. It's going to be at the Gordon House. Tickets are $65 each, but $50 of that is tax deductible because it's going to support our initiatives directly. It's going to be a wonderful night of Nigerian fun, food, and music. So we hope you can be there in person. But if you can't, there's an opportunity to donate, and there's a flyer on your table. Our Fun and Friendship Committee has been very active once again, and under the leadership of Pat Riley and Doug Smith, they're going to be developing a Get to Know Your Rotary Family Member program. And once a month, we will meet informally at 11:45 a.m. to have table topics, which are fun, engaging, interactive activities designed to help you get to know your fellow Rotarians. Again, all in an effort to create that sense of belonging and to break down disincentives to participation. Each person will have 3 minutes to chat, and then we'll get to know each other better. And as Pat Riley pointed out, it's like long-lost cousins in Rotary. You might not know them well, but we can break down those divides and get to know each other better. So looking forward to that. And they also have planned a Labor Day hike for Monday, September 4th at 11 a.m. at Henry Cal State Park. There's also a flyer on your table for that. And in the back, Whiskey Doug is wearing his hiking gear, complete with a fanny pack that holds whiskey. So don't miss that fun event. And then a really exciting Rotary family update. Dr. Emily Robin, who of course was one of our Red Badge Members of the Year last year, was just officially approved as a Rotoplas medical volunteer. That's amazing. Congratulations. And now, without further ado, I'll invite our keynote speaker up, and we'll be hearing about building California's energy future. I can't talk. Energy future from CEO Patricia Poppe. Now, interesting, please join me. She became CEO in January of 2021 after serving as the CEO of another Fortune 500 company. Now, you saw her bio in our Rotary Bulletin, and this woman richly deserves a long introduction, but I think you'd like to hear her content more than her achievements. So I invite you to look at that bio, but I would be remiss if I didn't flag one incredibly special achievement. She made history when she became CEO of PG&E because she was then named CEO of the second Fortune 500 company, being the only woman to ever achieve that. So congratulations on that. And one fun fact, because you know I love data, as of January of 2023, only 53 Fortune 500 companies were led by women. And as we learned from the International Monetary Fund, when you have women in executive positions, the return on investment is 37% higher due to that diverse perspective. So without further ado, Patty, please take it away.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm really looking forward to your comments.
Thank you.
And
Thank
there's
you.
water here for you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Karen. Well, it is an honor to be here with the family. You know, I feel good about that. Some of the things about Rotary that I have long valued, but as I think about service above self, it's such an important value that's represented deeply at PG&E. The more PG&Eers you can know, the more people you'll know who are getting up every day to serve you. And so it's my honor to represent them here with all of you today and share a couple highlights. First, I thought it would be good to talk about how we're making our system safer, how we're restoring financial stability to the company, and how we are using innovation as a key catalyst for our really transformation as a company. I often enjoy, well, for some time I really leaned into that, being able to say I was the new CEO of PG&E, but I've been there 2.5 years now, so it's my baby, and I love her, and we're making a lot of progress, and so I'm excited to share that with you. So first, you know, as we talk about wildfire mitigation, and it was interesting driving down here today. I live in Lafayette. Driving down from Lafayette today, seeing the smoke hanging in the hills from the northern California and Oregon and Washington wildfires, and even Canadian wildfires. It's an important area of focus for us, as you can imagine. Watching what happened in Hawaii broke our hearts. And I literally was on the phone today with another CEO of a utility in Colorado, just encouraging him to take the lessons that have been learned here in California to heart, and to not be afraid to do what is necessary to keep people safe. But I also was reminded, we had a leadership meeting, and our head of wildfire mitigation stood up and spoke, and he said to the audience, our officers and directors from PG&E, he said, "I'm sure many of you are reflecting on 2017 because the weather was not dissimilar. We had a very wet winter in 2017 and went on to have a quite disastrous wildfire season. And for us at PG&E, that weighs heavy on our hearts. And it causes us to imagine the most extraordinary technology advancements, operational advancements that we can deploy to keep people safe." And so we took a minute and just reflected, and he shared with that group that day all of the things that are in place today that were not in place in 2017. They're reflected here on the chart in front of you. You can see just the AI-enabled high-definition cameras, 602 of them, 1,500 now today. Weather stations are installed across our entire service area that incidentally goes from basically Eureka to Bakersfield. I like to say sometimes Bakersfield to Bernie. If any of you have been to Bernie, it's a lovely little place, and the Bernie Falls are quite amazing. We have a hydro facility up there. But our Hazard Awareness Center is in place 24/7, 365. We are often the first to notify officials that there is an ignition somewhere unrelated to our equipment, but our cameras can see. The AI technology helps them automatically notify our team that there is an ignition, and it can tell the difference between smoke and fog. Our undergrounding miles, we continue to make progress there. And a lot of people ask me about the cost of undergrounding. I'll share some things about that, but just at the highest level, it's very much for the risk reduced and the absolute cost of undergrounding versus maintaining overhead lines and all of the vegetation management. Undergrounding is an absolutely economic choice for us, given not everywhere, but specifically in our high fire risk areas. It's amazing what our team is delivering there, and other system hardening solutions. The list goes on and on. Our public safety power shutoffs, and most importantly, recently, our technology-enabled enhanced power line safety settings have reduced ignitions by 68% last year, year over year, reduced acres burned by 99%. This year, ignitions are cut in half again over last year's record-breaking performance. So I want you to know the system has never been safer. It'll be safer still tomorrow. We continue to be vigilant and looking for every solution set. And you might be excited to hear we launched X Prize Wildfire earlier this year, which is a global technology competition, a $10 million prize for the innovator who can both identify an ignition within 10 minutes and put it out within 15 minutes with autonomous technology. We can't wait. We already have over 100 teams competing for that prize. So, and these are technology companies who you would be familiar with, and it's very exciting to imagine what technologies can be deployed to rethink how we fight wildfire, both for the benefit of certainly California, but globally, the benefits as the climate change continues to create more intense weather conditions and the need for really resilient infrastructure. Technology is going to be a key enabler, and we're excited to play a role in that. I also want you to know, the financial health of PG&E might not feel that important, but I can assure you it's important because we have to have access to the necessary capital to rebuild this infrastructure. We have such a great opportunity to rebuild infrastructure in a new and thoughtful way, not for the climate conditions of today, but for the climate conditions of the future, and that requires that we have access to capital markets, that we are a desirable, that California is able to attract that necessary investment, and we've made a lot of progress here. And what I wanted you to know is that affordability and financial health of PG&E are not in conflict with one another. We employ something we call our simple affordable model, and this is a model that I actually deployed in my previous role as the CEO of a utility in Michigan. It's very simple. Utilities are a capital-intensive business. Our infrastructure requires capital, and so we are deploying that capital. That's very important to rebuild the infrastructure, not just inspect it, not just Band-Aid it, but build it for the future. But we can then reduce the cost for customers by offsetting that with significant cost savings. And I'm an industrial engineer by training. I did industrial engineering and automotive for 15 years before I switched over to the utility industry. I have discovered in this sector, in the utility sector, there's a lot of opportunity to reimagine how we work. We engineer our equipment and traditionally have done a great job engineering equipment, whether it's pipes or wires or substations or power plants, but we didn't spend as much time engineering the work process. That's what we're investing in now, and we're able to reduce cost in so many different ways. I'll give you one quick example. On undergrounding, as I said, a lot of people wonder, is it too expensive? We are reducing the cost every day of how we're doing that undergrounding. And in fact, since we first imagined the idea of undergrounding 10,000 miles, we've reduced the cost per mile by almost 50%. Yeah, amen to that. Woohoo. And I'm so proud of the team. We're not finished yet by any stretch, but here's just one example. This year, we really challenged our engineering standards. The standard had been that we buried those lines 36 inches in the ground. There's lots of good reasons why that would be. But we realized other utilities who bury lines bury them at 30 inches. And so we asked ourselves, well, why are we 36 inches? And so we challenged ourselves. We learned that 30 inches, and these are California utilities who bury lines at 30 inches, even with earthquake risk. We can use that 30-inch standard, and saving just those 6 inches. This year alone saves $25 million. Over the life of the program, $400 million reducing 6 inches of dirt. And that's just like a low-hanging fruit. You know, people talk about low-hanging fruit. I say, I got bushel baskets. I can go around and pick that fruit up off the ground. We got a lot of work to do at PG&E. And we're going to do it smarter, more effective, cost-effectively. And so we can save customers those dollars. Another way is efficient financing. And you may have read, we applied for a DOE loan. The DOE has started a whole new loan program for clean energy transition. Well, if California isn't leading the clean energy transition, I don't know who is. And that means PG&E is leading that clean energy transition. By applying for this $7 billion loan, we're not awarded yet, but we're getting lots of support from the DOE that our grid investments could very much be. It's still a loan we pay back, but just in the financing cost alone, if we are awarded that loan, we'll save $140 million every year that we have that loan in interest expense. That's all saves customers those dollars. So we can afford to invest in the right infrastructure by offsetting the costs and keep our bills at an affordable level. It is top of mind for us. We're working on it every day. And one of the key enablers to that is implementing our lean operating system. Again, I mentioned I'm an industrial engineer. I learned about this in automotive back in the day. It's been a long time, but those lean tools and lean manufacturing concepts apply to utilities, and we are deploying them. We have 5 basic plays. It starts with visual management, operating reviews, problem solving, standards, and waste elimination. Those 5 simple plays are being deployed enterprise-wide at PG&E. Every single day, we have huddles across the company, our daily operating reviews, where we are seeing what's happening, where the challenges are, and at 10:20 every day, I have a briefing, and I am briefed on what happened yesterday, what was supposed to happen yesterday, and what are we doing about it today. The leadership team at PG&E has never been as focused and loved this business as much as we do. We love the work. I am much more comfortable in a pair of boots than in these shoes that I'm wearing today. I am very happy in a hard hat. That's my happy place. PG&E is very focused on delivering for our hometowns, serving our planet, and what we say, leading with love. And I think that fits very well with the Rotary mission. And I just want you to know the financial well-being of PG&E is going to be driven by that mindset, and is our culture change that we're leading at PG&E is based on this lean operating system with a real focus on doing the work smarter, safer, better every single day, and you will be the recipients of the benefits of that mindset and that work. I ask you for a little bit of grace as we transform a 100-year-old company. Sometimes I think, here I am in the land of startups, but sometimes I think I am running a 100-year-old startup because there's some stuff that we're starting over and rebuilding from scratch. And when I say we're rebuilding our utility, your hometown utility, from the underground up, I want you to know there's financial benefit for you and certainly resilience statewide as we do that. The last thing I'd love to share is that we are not just focused on the past at PG&E. We are very excited about the future. We hosted an innovation summit here just a couple weeks ago And we invited the best and brightest, and yes, Elon Musk joined us. He was calling in from a friend's wedding in Italy, which was fun. And then you can see up on the top picture, I was joined by Annette Clayton from Schneider Electric and Daryl Willis from Microsoft. We announced a very important partnership that day where we are installing and implementing the first distributed energy resource management system that will be cloud-based, a first of its kind that will allow us to leverage and best optimize all of the distributed resources that we have here in California. We are definitely going to help shape the future of the clean energy transition. And our mantra is that we can decarbonize the economy at the lowest societal cost. And that means fully utilizing this rooftop solar, the residential distributed energy resources, your electric vehicles, your Tesla Powerwalls. In fact, last summer on September 6th, just about a year ago, we had a peak event, you may remember, receiving a text message saying, please reduce your usage. Thank you, you did, and you saved the grid that day, but that's a heck of a way to run the grid, my friends. We're not gonna do that too many times. We need technology that can actually automate all of that. So that day we used 50 megawatts of virtual power plants from Tesla Powerwalls. We're installing 8,500 more batteries with Sunrun this year to enable 35 more megawatts of virtual power plants so that on a peak day, batteries can be the complement to solar energy and create a clean, de-energized energy system that people can't even imagine. And the last thing I want to share about that, because I think this is what gets me the most excited, especially as my 15 years in automotive and now 15 years in the utility space, the convergence of electric vehicles in the energy system. People ask me all the time, and in fact, General Motors board of directors asked me to come and speak at the board, is the grid ready? You know, General Motors and other automotive, we know Tesla, has bet the farm on electrification of transportation. And so the GM board wanted to know if that was a good idea. And I assured them that it was in fact a good idea because not only is the grid ready, the grid needs EVs. EVs are the first energy demand that is both, all three, mobile, flexible, and clean. That electric load can be both supply and demand. So it adds demand in the midday. Right now, today on our grid, we have 40% extra capacity. Right now, at this time of day, because of solar energy. Now, when the sun starts to set and it's still hot and people are still running their air conditioning, we need another solution. Those EVs can be that solution because they can use the energy in the middle of the day and then dispatch the energy at as the sun sets. Now you might be wondering, well, Patty, now wait a minute. I want to be able to get to the grocery store in the morning. I don't want you taking all my power from my car. First of all, you'll definitely get to opt in. Second of all, a vehicle can power a home for 3 to 5 days. A Chevy Silverado can power a home for 10 days. There is so much excess capacity in a vehicle for a home that a couple hours of supply is very manageable. But we need this distributed energy resource management system in place to be able to optimize that so it's invisible. And I'll just tell you a quick story. This happened at my house. The house we purchased in Lafayette had 3 Tesla Powerwalls already installed and a solar system. And I remember the owner who sold us the house said to me when we were turning the keys, he said, Patty, I did a good job for you, didn't I? Thinking, you know, PG&E, I did a good job for you with this solar system and the batteries. I was like, I don't know. And then, now that I live here, and I've been here 2.5 years, he did a good job for us. He did a good job for us. The other day, it was a Tuesday night, we had a peak power event, signal from the California Independent System Operator, and we had an enhanced power line safety settings outage to protect my neighborhood from a wildfire. Our batteries made it seamless. If my husband had not checked his app, he would have never known it even happened. Our lights didn't flicker, we didn't have to reset the clocks, our freezer was fine, and yet we served the grid, and we served our home, and we kept our neighborhood safe. That's the energy system of the future that we're deploying at PG&E. But I also want you to know that we love San Jose. You're our largest community, our most innovative community, our biggest partnerships are here in California and in San Jose. This community matters. We are engaged in your community. We live here, we work here, we contribute to the community here, and we couldn't be more proud to do it. And then just finally, I'm going to close with just saying one story, and then we'll take a couple questions, I think. Yeah. You know, the We Are Family is, I love that, and I can't wait to see that song in the video. But at PG&E, when I first joined the team, somebody shared with me that they used to be a family. About it all the time. That some boss stood up and said, we are not a family, we are a business. And I think that might have been the beginning of an unfortunate change at our company. And I want you to know, any of you who have friends and family who work at PG&E, we are a family again. And we know that that family environment is the environment that makes people feel safe to bring their best ideas, to get up every day, to serve their friends, their families, their neighbors. We are not anonymous. We are your friends, your families, your neighbors. And we are a family, and we're going to do right by you. So thank you so much.
Perfect. I love your joy, and you made me think of another quote. Boots on the ground, flats in the boardroom. You get those boots back on and you keep going. But you also underscored a very valuable leadership lesson, which is when people feel that they're part of a family or a community, they do better. You have less turnover, you have less absenteeism, and you have greater commitment to the outcome. Let's take a few questions. Yes! He's coming.
Well, thank you for coming today.
My pleasure.
And we, all of us here, have been moved over the years with the fires in California. It's really been a shocking thing, and obviously you're doing a great job here. My question is about Hawaii. Yes. What we are learning now is that they were bare wires, not enclosed, not underground, some poles leaning. A report starting in 2019 about this problem. And my question is, doesn't the county and the state have some responsibility here?
You know, I think we all have an opportunity to come together. I think coming together to really understand this new hazard that is becoming more prevalent. I think I mentioned, I was talking to a Colorado, did I say this?
Yes.
Yeah, to the Colorado CEO today. Look, utilities are trained to keep the lights on. That's our job. Like for my whole career and the tens of thousands of coworkers I have are trained to keep the lights on. And so to ask a utility to turn the lights off proactively is a new skill. Now it's a skill that we have. We employed, in fact, last night, we did a 4,000 person public safety power shut off up in Shasta and Butte counties. But we have to partner with the local communities. So yes, we all have a role to understand what this new hazard is. And I think back to when the big earthquake happened in the early 1900s, we had to change building codes, we had to change expectations. So there is a mutual responsibility, and I think utilities are coming to grips with the fact that in any other place, electric line that sparks, of course it sparks everywhere in the world, that's not new. But in the right conditions, with the right fuels and the right wind speeds, you can have a catastrophic outcome. And so we have now designed our system to fail safe. We've designed our system to give recognition to that hazard, but there's a lot more that we can do with defensible spaces and partnerships with communities and fire response resources. And so there's not one silver bullet here across the board. And I'm proud to say that California is definitely leading, and California has learned the tough way, and PG&E has learned in a heartbreaking way that we have more we can do.
Thank
you. And we're not done yet.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes. We have miles and miles and miles of desert. Why can't we cover them with solar?
Yeah, so I would say two things. In some cases we can. We, however, would have to build transmission from there, and building transmission right now nationally is the biggest barrier to large-scale renewable installations. But I'll just say for us, here in California, we have abundant solar energy. In the middle of the day, we have in many cases energy we have to export because we can't absorb it in the grid. So we have abundant solar energy. The trick is finding a way to dispatch it when we need it and be flexible with that. And that's why I'm so excited about batteries and EVs as a complement to all the solar that we do have.
That was a brilliant response. I can't help myself. Thank you for that.
Thankfully, it's true.
Yeah. Wait, over here first, Walt, and then I'll come to you, Suzanne.
So I had a question about the G in PG&E. So you talked about electrification, but as you put up San Jose, 3,000 miles of gas, 300,000 gas customers. What's PG&E's thoughts about transitioning away from gas?
Yeah. We are very, you know, first of all, I love all my gas team. And they run one of the best, we have one of the best, highest performing gas companies in the world. I will say that. There's been a huge transformation that occurred there long before I arrived. We do see the case for electrification, particularly if you recognize the methane emissions. The trick is, what is the timetable for that transition? And so we're looking for strategic electrification opportunities, targeted electrification opportunities, working with communities who want to go electric. So I'll just give you one example. We had a mobile home park that was scheduled to have its gas service lines replaced. Each of those service lines is a $30,000 investment to replace. We realized we could electrify that entire mobile home park for less than replacing all those service lines. So in those cases, our heuristics now have us looking for that. We're adding more renewable natural gas to our current gas to reduce the methane emissions, and every time we replace a pipe or upgrade a service or make an improvement, that reduces methane emissions as well. I will say that we are very supportive of the state's ambitions. We will continue in that direction, and we will make sure that the electrified California is one that we're all proud of.
Mark is the chair of our Climate Action Committee. Great question.
We could have, like, if you'd want to have further conversation, we certainly could do that.
Suzanne.
Awesome. Patty, thanks for your leadership. Quick question. How do we ensure that folks that are low income, low to middle income can afford these battery walls, right? I mean, looking at the price tag on that, it's clear that there are whole populations of folks that just won't have access to that. So
That
what's
is
the
a
answer?
great question. And one of the things that makes me excited about this is the idea that because these batteries can be used on a peak day as a mini power plant, then they're actually a benefit to all of us. Therefore, it could be a utility asset. And so where customers cannot afford to have that, imagine we have a fleet of residential batteries, particularly where we know we have resilience issues related to wildfire. We can then outfit those homes, and in fact, the 8,500 that we're doing this year are targeted toward customers who might not otherwise be able to afford that resilience solution. And I have a vision of this perfect power, that perfect power in the past was a great big power plant with power lines heading one way to everybody's houses. In our current climate conditions, we can have perfect power with distributed resources in a way we never did before, which is why that announcement with Schneider and Microsoft was so incredibly important.
Past President Fernando.
I didn't recognize you without your hard hat.
I hear that often. That's my trick.
I just wonder what is PG&E's procedures to follow with respect to this challenge from the city of San Jose expressing an interest in taking over the gas and electric utility service here in San Jose.
Yeah, obviously, we love serving San Jose. We want to continue doing it. We've done it for almost 100 years or over 100 years. We want to keep doing that, but we need to earn that right. And we don't take lightly that when our customers want to be served in a different way, that really is a message to us. And so we're working closely with the city of San Jose. We do think we are best equipped to bring at scale the kind of solutions and prepare the energy transition. You know, I want to do this distributed energy resource model here in San Jose. We want to bring the clean energy transition here to San Jose. And there's no, listen, I cannot argue with the fact that we have had our attention directed at a very high-risk, catastrophic environment and a situation that is one I get up every day making sure does not happen again. I wear this little ladybug on my shirt in memory of a little girl who died in her car trying to get out of a fire. She was 8 years old. Every day I put this on. And so that will be our first priority. But second is making sure that we serve communities like San Jose well. And so we're working on that. Sorry, I got a little touched. But we need to earn that right. And I think it's fair for people to ask us to earn that right, and we are changing a lot of things at the company. The thing that I would ask is, again, a little bit of grace for us as we recover from the catastrophic events of 2017 through 2019. We're getting back on our feet. We can serve you well. In fact, I don't think there's anybody who can serve you better. We have an incredibly trained workforce who lives in San Jose, who serves you in San Jose, who is all about San Jose, and we expect to continue to be able to do that for a very long time.
Thank you. I beg your indulgence. I'd like to go 2 minutes over today so that we can get to our district governor's question.
So follow up with your workforce. Do you see there's enough workforce for you to hire for your innovation? We have San Jose State folks here. Do you have any, recommendations of what kind of workforce you're looking for community college and colleges to provide you enough workforce?
I think it's one of the best opportunities in California to become part of the PG&E team. And we have such a range of roles, from tech to first, like the first kind of level jobs of being a utility worker, and even starting as a flagger at the company to direct traffic. We have a career path for people, and so we've got an incredible program, Pathways program, that we've had for several years, but it's been small. We're trying to grow that program so we can get underrepresented communities represented at PG&E for generational changing prosperity. PG&E is a wonderful place to work, and we are finding that we can recruit people. People do want to join this mission. They see the role that we play in the community, but we have the opportunity to really prepare the next generation of citizens in the state of California with well-paid, high-quality jobs that deliver a real purpose, delivering for our hometowns, serving our planet, and leading with love.
Thank you for that. Thank you so much. We've made it, and we're going to take a quick picture. We've made a donation to Loaves and Fishes in your honor for your time today, which provides food for the hungry. Are we?
I'm going to take a selfie.
Okay, you want to turn around and do it this way?
Okay, let's do it real quick. Everyone, if you don't mind, if you'll humor me. All right, thank you. You want me to do it now? Yes. Oh, look at that. Nice, thank you, thank you.
That's a first.
Loaves
All right, thank you.
Loaves and Fishes, please.
Thank you. And will you stick around for a couple minutes?
Sure.
And she will stick around for a couple minutes. Steve, I know we didn't get to your question, but for those who might want to talk a bit further, please join us up here. Next week's speaker is Aaron West, speaking on cybercrime. And my final thought for today: worrying does not take away tomorrow's troubles, it takes away today's peace. So interrupt anxiety with gratitude, and remember, your brain believes what you tell it. So be careful of the narrative you weave. Thank you, everybody. Love to the family. See you next week.
One more selfie.